welcome to View from the Top of the Goalposts. It is week 6. I'm excited. I'm Diesel, and I'm joining you from Diesel's Dapper Dungeon of Delight. And I am joined, as always, by the football prognosticator. Is that the word I'm looking for? I don't know. It is the Dadilac, Chad.
Prognosticator is a word, so I think it was the word you were looking for in that situation. So good job. Good job.
I mean,
Hello, all.
if you ask me for a definition, I don't think I could actually give it to you. It's a big word. I don't know that word. I've heard it. It probably means expert, right?
Prognosticator, I do believe, means to make predictions. Someone who makes predictions.
I just made us both look really stupid, didn't I?
Yep, probably.
Anyway, are you looking it up?
Yes, I am.
Okay, well. Well, this show started off with a bang.
Yeah, I was right. A person who foretells or prophesizes a future event. Someone who makes predictions. Correctly.
Maybe we're smarter than we think we are. Well, anyways, we're both over 500 for our overall records, too. So, I mean, yeah, that means we're doing good. I feel like if you can finish over 500, you're doing good. So right now,
especially to be 500 in this NFL season, and I know we didn't pick week 1, but still, like, that's nuts because this season has been wild.
It has been wild. I was actually thinking of suggesting doing our own personal power rankings when I thought about it, and it's like I can do 1, 2, and 3, but then after that, I don't know.
Start throwing darts.
Yeah, so it's like that's how crazy this season is. It's like, when is it gonna like get to the point where it's like, like week 18, like right before you get to the playoffs? I mean, that's probably when.
I know we don't do our planning on air usually, but we should do a power rankings when we get to the halfway point now. What do we consider that, week 8 or 9?
Yes.
Fantastic. So either in the next few weeks, folks, we will do a power rankings.
But anyways, last week you went 8-8. You did have some bold like predictions, but also some games like didn't go your way at the end, like we were talking for recording. Carson Wentz throwing that pick.
Cleveland Browns missing a field goal. Justin Tucker having ice in his veins and never being able to miss a field goal. You know, those 3 games right there, and Chad has a much better record.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't have a problem with the way you're picking games right now because like it's a crapshoot. So like you got some games right that I didn't get right because you went out on a limb. So yeah, but it didn't really work out for you as well this week because I went 11-5. I didn't go out on as much of a limb. I looked at the games this week and I think that I might in a couple of them, but so far total is for season records, I'm 38-26 and you're 35-29. So we're both doing good.
Yes, we are.
But
stay above 500. I'm ready to pick some games.
Okay. Moving on. Well, we got the first game of the week, which is Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. I actually enjoy the Prime broadcast. They just haven't had very good games. Like matchups. Like, even though last week's game, I mean, it was boring and there was no touchdown scored, it still went down to the final seconds and
went to overtime.
I mean, it went overtime, and I was really rooting for a tie. That would have been awesome. Like, this was a scenario where it's like, if the Colts have 2 ties, I'm all for it. Yeah. But yeah, this week we have a stinker on paper, so it's probably going to be like a really close game. We have the 1-4 Washington Commanders at the 2-3 Chicago Bears, and the Bears are favored in this game, but by only 1 point. So it's like, why don't you I even put a betting out on this game.
I hate both of these teams right now. These 2 teams have become the bane of my existence. Because who is Chicago? Chicago goes from, I can't score a single point, to I'm going to put up 28 points on the Vikings out of nowhere in like the second half of the game. Infuriating. And Washington has all of these amazing pieces together, and yet Carson Wentz has his head so far up his butt that he can't throw it to him lately. It's driving me nuts. I hate both of these teams.
So many good receivers on Washington. It is crazy. It's like you can't cover all of them because they're all really good. And in the next couple seasons, they're going to be on different teams because it's how Washington rolls. But this game, I don't know. Chicago, yeah, like you said, who is Chicago? I want to know what is Chicago. Are they a football team? Or like, I don't know. They run the ball. They're one-dimensional. They should be easy to beat. Yet the Vikings had their issues last week. The Vikings almost lost that game. I don't know. I don't think that Chicago is any. I actually think Washington is a better team than Chicago. It's just, is Carson Wentz going to be the first round, second overall draft pick Carson Wentz, or is he going to be
Indianapolis Carson Wentz?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm gonna go with Washington in this game.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a close one. I really do feel like it's probably gonna go down to the last second field goal, but this one's really hard to because both these teams are bad.
Yeah, this is one of those times where I feel like I should pick against you because it is a coin flip, but I absolutely refuse to root for Justin Fields and the Bears because I don't like Justin Fields. I didn't like him in college. I don't like him now. And I don't really have any players on that team who I really like to root for. So throw the ball to Scary Terry, okay? Carson Wentz, I know, just like Russell Wilson listens to this podcast, and just like Marcus Mariota listens to this podcast, because the week after I told him, hey, throw the ball to Kyle Pitts, the guy had 10 targets. So listen, Mr. Wentz, Carson, if you will, throw the ball to Terry McLaurin. Scary Terry made a cadre of terrible quarterbacks look comparable by just hucking it up to him. So just throw him the ball. And I'm going to take Washington as well. I can't. I don't. And they're probably going to lose just to spite us.
Well, if Russell Wilson listened to this podcast, it was only for that 1 week because he sucked big time last week. And we'll talk about that when we get to the Broncos. But next game, first game on Sunday afternoon at noon, we have the 3-2 San Francisco 49ers traveling to the 2-3 Atlanta Falcons, who, I mean, let's be honest, they got a bad call against them on Sunday. It doesn't mean they would have won that game.
No.
They're down 5. It was third down. The Buccaneers would have punted back to them, and their offense was rolling. They were really hard to stop. But Tom Brady got tackled. That's all it was a tackle and flag. And that wasn't even the only one. This Monday night it happened again too.
No, there was a few of them.
The Chiefs.
It's called an overcorrection. It's after the Tua stuff. Every ref got a letter in their mailbox saying anything that looks kind of like that, you throw a flag.
I mean, but you saw both the plays. Both of them were tackles. They weren't like forceful tackles. They were just tackles. And even Tom Brady came out and said after the game, defenders have a disadvantage. And he even admitted that they screwed up on that play and then they benefited from it because of that. And they need to do better judgment. You know what I mean? I understand why the NFL will come out and tell them to you gotta do better, but come on, there's a difference between slamming a guy and then rolling him over. And I don't know. Especially when on Monday night there was a fumble involved. So if you said he was trying to put his body weight on him, that's not the case either. He was going for the ball. Judgment. Use your judgment.
It's a hard area. I know we rip on refs constantly, and deservedly so, because they do terrible jobs at times.
This week 5 was a horrible week for refs.
It
started out last Thursday when the one referee was called for a timeout by San Diego. It's San Diego, for one, the Chargers weren't even playing in that game. Number 2, they don't even play in San Diego anymore.
Nope. What
was going on with that?
Yeah, no, but I mean, it's a hard job to be an NFL referee.
No one wanted to do it. No.
No.
No one wanted to be a cameraman and Devontae Adams are around either. But
he hates cameramen. He hates them.
And now we're on a tirade. I gotta say this. What he did was definitely wrong. You shouldn't, especially that guy is doing his job, you know. And I understand that Devontae Adams is upset because his coach is an idiot, but and he misses Green Bay, and we miss him too. But like, I do not condone what he did, but this guy literally filed a police report on him, and it's like, come on,
Yeah.
like Devontae Adams probably would have like signed some footballs for you and like made it right, you know. Like, he was very apologetic right after the fact. I bet you he felt bad immediately and felt stupid for doing something like that. But you're gonna file a police report on him, like, that's going a little far. This, yeah, I don't think it was wrong all around.
Yeah, it was a bad call. Before we get back to the game, though, I do have to say, I have always been one of the people who, like, I stand by that the NFL needs to make things safer, and that a lot of these safety rules that people bitch about all the time are great rules. Like, everything, like, you shouldn't be clipping people, you shouldn't do in blindside blocks, like, the unprotected wide receiver hits, they needed to go. Like, all these things that a lot of the old school NFL people bitch about all the time, going, oh, what do you want him to do then? Put him down on a pillow? Like, that stuff I've always fought against. But this quarterback stuff, we got to figure this out. Like, we can't give the quarterbacks, like, and as a Patriots fan, like, Tom Brady benefited from it for many, many moons. I can't deny that fact. But we got to get this right here, folks. Like, it's like either we have to, like, maybe it's only a 5-yard penalty or something like that. It being a 15-yard penalty every time, automatic first down is such a game changer. Like, it completely, and it's always off of a big play by the defense too. Like, and you like just steal every bit of momentum, everything from that defense with that. Instead of a sack, you're not getting the sack. You're getting up a first down, and they have 15 yards closer to that touchdown.
There was a time where roughing the passer would never have been called if the quarterback was holding the ball. Like, yeah. But I don't know. But that wasn't even the worst roughing the passer call of Tom Brady in like his career. There was that one game where he got tapped on the shoulder, like right before he threw it. He got tapped on the shoulder, and they called it roughing the passer. Like, it was the worst roughing the passer call in the history of the game, because the guy was like running by him, he missed him, tapped him on the shoulder. It was like it was basketball, and he like got the foul or something. But
he leaned into it, man. Didn't you see him lean into it? That's why I got it. You know, he was going for the shot.
San Francisco at Atlanta. San Francisco is favored by 5.5, but San Francisco is beaten and battered. Like, they're falling apart, but their division is not good. So yeah. They just have to like try to tape themselves and back together, and they should be able to win this division pretty easy.
Because what, they lost their starting cornerback this year for this, or this last week for the season, and Nick Bosa is down with something. Yeah. And didn't they lose a linebacker too?
Yeah, and Robbie Gould too.
Yeah, jeez, team's falling apart at the seams. But that offense is starting to look like it can cook a little bit.
Oh no, I mean, it's because Jimmy G. Like, I know that they did not want to keep him, but like, what a blessing in disguise for them that they still have him. Like, it worked out the best for both people. Jimmy G still got paid, and he's playing, and he's probably gonna, like, hopefully, I want him to ball out this year. I don't want the 49ers to go far in the postseason because I hate the 49ers, but I want Jimmy G to ball out and then maybe go to Carolina or something like that, you know? Get a starting job and then, like, build up another franchise and maybe make them relevant. Because I think Jimmy G gets a bad rap because he's a pretty solid quarterback.
Yeah. I've always loved Jimmy G. I always thought he would be the heir apparent to Tom Brady. And if they wouldn't have had their little falling out and Tom Brady would have got him kicked out of town, like, he would have been. Like, I always loved Jimmy G out of Eastern Illinois. Like, every time I was like, the Patriots are set for many years. But, all right, San Fran, Atlanta. Ugh. That Atlanta defense isn't very good. I think the San Fran goal, this is from West Coast to East Coast. This is one of those classic early game West Coast teams. You know what? I need to make up some ground, and I feel like you're going to pick San Fran, so I'm going to take Atlanta, because I've been rolling with Atlanta all year this year. I'm a believer in Mariota, and they might get Kyle Pitts back this week.
I I don't really know where I stand for this one either because, like I said, San Francisco is really beaten up right now. Uh, Atlanta has good wide receivers. Like they have a good running game, and I like Marcus Mariota, and there's still a lot of people down on him. I don't know why. Like I feel like he's in like top 10 quarterback this year, but he's been doing a lot better than what people would have expected. I mean, Atlanta is still in this division race, so I mean it's early, but I like Atlanta. I like their makeup. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the safe one here and go with San Francisco. But I would not be surprised if Atlanta won this game. And I don't know. San Francisco is 5.5 point favorites. I mean, I could see him winning by a touchdown.
See, and that's where we definitely disagree. This is Chad's golden lock of the week. Yeah, I'm gonna put a gold lock on it, but not for Atlanta actually winning. But if you can get 5.5 points for Atlanta, I can see Atlanta easily covering that, and this being a field goal game. I think Atlanta's offense, like, especially with how banged up San Francisco is, if San Francisco had all their players, I would take San Fran by a mile. But I think Atlanta at home can keep this game close. So, golden lock of the week. Get Atlanta plus 5.5.
Oh, man. Debo's been, like, he started off a little slow, but these last 2 weeks, he's been rolling, and I don't know, man. That guy is definitely a game changer.
Yeah. Drake London, baby, rookie wide receiver for Atlanta, gonna go off this week. I do like
Drake. There's a lot of great rookie wide receivers out there this year,
and they're all on my fantasy teams.
Well, I mean, yeah, not in unusual suspects, not all of them, because I got Olave and Dobbs. So yeah. Sunday noon, we have the 2-3 New England Patriots at the 2-3 Cleveland Browns. It's the Bill Belichick Bowl, and Cleveland is favored by 3. And I mean, fair enough. Cleveland should be better than 2-3. I mean, they possibly could be 5-0 if like everything like went their way. But they just keep on making these mental mistakes. Jacoby Brissett throwing that pick at the end of that game when he didn't need to go for the touchdown. Like it's just like some of these quarterbacks just making these mental errors in like those situations like drive me nuts. Like the Browns were gonna win that game. But
the Browns should have won that game. And then he missed a 50-yard field goal. Its time expired. Also, like, they got a second chance at it, and they still lost that game.
But I don't know. Nick Chubb is a beast. He's been beast the last few seasons. He's having one of the best starts to his season of his career this year. I don't know. But then there's that New England defense, they are very strong, and I don't know. That's what it's going to come down to. Like, if Zabby plays again, he's been really good at managing that offense. I mean, they killed the Lions last week. Like, if anyone was a believer in the Lions, I don't think there are anymore because.
Hold on. I think we gotta take a step back on this because I also made a grave error last week in picking the Lions. What we forgot is there's some weird constants in the NFL. And back in the day, it was that Bill Belichick owned Peyton Manning. It didn't matter how good Peyton Manning's teams were. He owned them. You know who else Bill Belichick owns that I forgot about? Jared Goff. Jared Goff has been owned by Bill Belichick and the Patriots. No matter every time he's played him, I don't think he's scored more than 14 points against Bill Belichick in his entire career. So I don't think we can be that down on the Lions, especially they had a bye week this week. I think the Lions are still the lovable losers, but they're a little bit like they're a mid-carder now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Everyone had higher hopes for the Lions because of week 1, like keeping up with the Eagles and then winning week 2, almost beating the Vikings. I don't know. You're right. Lions, they have potential. They're losing a lot of games like last season where they're close and they're losing them at the end of the game. But yeah. Anyways, we're not talking about the Lions. We're talking about New England and Cleveland. And Cleveland, the 3-point favor. I am gonna go with Cleveland in this game. I like the 3 points too, because I do think they're gonna have problems with that defense. I think that the defense is definitely gonna shut down the pass, which is gonna cause Chubb and Hunt problems. But they're they're probably the best 1-2 punch in the NFL because they're so different, but at the same time they're so alike. It's really weird, and I hate that they put Hunt in when they're inside the 5. I hate it. Because I have Chubb on my fantasy team, and Hunt's always stealing his points.
But, Vulture.
Yeah, I'm going with Cleveland.
Once again, I couldn't have been happier to get that pick wrong last week against the Patriots.
Really wrong.
I know, I was real wrong. Because once again, I said I forgot that Bill Belichick absolutely owns Jared Goff. Once again, though, that was at home. I think Zappy's still probably playing this week. I don't think Mac is going to be back. He could be, but I don't think he plays. And if he does play, I actually have more concerns because a re-injury risk and his back is still effed up. I think the Browns win this game. I think it is a close game. Bill Belichick will scheme it up to try and shut down the pass, and that will impact Nick Chubb and them. But I think that the Browns, unlike the Lions, will be able to keep that defense on the field and actually tire them out. In that game, the defense barely had to play. Like, they were doing 3 and outs left and right, so they could pin their ears back and they were ready to go. This is going to be a game of, 11 play drives, 14 play drives. And with that, you can wear down that front line. So I'm going to take the Browns.
Yeah, I also, like I said, I feel like the Patriots are going to shut down the pass. And it's just going to be up to whether if they can stop the run too. I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. I really like their defense. I really do. I think that next year they draft a couple of playmakers on offense. Patriots are going to be something to reckon with for sure.
Hey man, Matthew Judon is absolutely putting together what could be a defensive player of this year season if Micah Parsons, if Micah Parsons wasn't just absolutely lighting the world up. Like, people would be talking about Judon ripping people up, but no one is.
I mean, there's the Dallas Micah Parsons, dude. Like, the reason they're 4-1 is because of him.
Yeah, 100%. Don't talk about Cooper Rush. We talk about Micah Parsons.
But, like, wait till Dak comes back. Like, oh my God. Like, this could have been horrible for the Cowboys, but this is, like, best case scenario. They're 4-0 with him out. But, yeah, we're not talking about the Cowboys. We're talking about Sunday at noon. We have the 3-2 New York Jets, who are over 500 after 5 weeks, traveling to the 3-2 Green Bay Packers. Packers are 7-point favorites. And I'm going to tell you right now, I have some worries about this game. My worries are for the New York Jets because I don't know. Historically, after a loss, Aaron Rodgers plays his best games. I know they're traveling back from London, and it's a bigger issue the week after traveling from London than it is to travel to London. But at the same time, they've just lost. I think that there were certain things, like I think Aaron Rodgers is fired up. But as well, I think there's some locker room issues as well because of the comments that were made by Jair Alexander. I don't know why I can never say his name. Jair. Yeah, Alexander. And Aaron Rodgers talking about being a believer in words and whatever. But then I heard someone say, "But you're on the Pat McAfee show and you say a lot of things."
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just feel like being back at Lambeau, and how weird was it to see like the field in London dressed up for the Packers?
Yeah.
Didn't look right, but it was still pretty cool. I don't know. Packers. I don't know. I don't like. Okay, so obviously I'm a Packers fan. All the local media, all the people that call into the radio shows, like, are freaking out over this Giants loss. And I just want to be like, chill out. Because, like, for one, it's one loss. And it's a good loss for them to have, if you think about it, because you learn more from a loss. The Giants are unknown. The Giants could be good, but the Giants could also be a wolf in sheep's clothing or whatever. No, that's not what I'm trying
Fool's
to say.
gold.
But you know what I mean. Sheep in wolf's clothing. Is that what I'm trying to say?
No, that's a sheep in
No.
wolves. No, wait, yeah, a sheep in wolves clothing. Yes, that is what you were trying to say at that time. Yep.
So I don't know. So like I don't know. I feel like this wasn't that bad. It's definitely a good learning experience. They made a lot of mistakes and it gives them something to work on. I feel like this was what was to be expected to start out this season without having Devontae Adams and like not a really big name receiver. Like I feel like if you would have said like before the season started, after 5 games, the Packers are going to be 3-2, you'd be like, that sounds about right. And
Yeah.
we might have thought they were going to lose to Tampa Bay instead of New York, but I mean, it's the same outcome either way. I don't know. I just feel like people are like jumping on them like too soon. The defense does need to make adjustments, but I still feel like the defense played good. Like, I don't know. I think people are freaking out too early. It's a very winnable division. They're going to figure it out. Aaron Rodgers, like, he won the MVP the last 2 years, and he started out not so great both of those years, and he got to the halfway mark, and he turned it on, and that's when he won the MVPs. So it's just like, just relax. They might make a move. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, there's rumors that they've reached out to the Panthers, like, to see like if they could get DJ Moore, which
I
I
was
think
just
would
gonna
be a
say,
great
yeah,
move.
that DJ Moore would be a huge pickup.
I doubt that will happen. You just signed an extension with them.
No.
Who knows? But I don't know. I think the Packers are going to win this game. They're favored by 7. I think they're going to win it by 17. I just feel like they're going to come out, and I don't think the Jets are that good. They're 3-2. They had a fluke win against Baltimore. No, against they lost to Baltimore against the Browns. They had last week.
No, they beat Baltimore.
What?
They beat Baltimore.
Yeah, they lost to Baltimore week 1. They got
that was week
smoked
1
by Baltimore.
Yeah.
Week 2 is when they played the Browns and they came back. Who did they play last week?
The Dolphins.
Oh yeah, the Dolphins are injured. They were a third-string quarterback last week. Who was their other win? It was another like not that great team. Like they haven't really like faced like a team like the Packers yet, and I just feel like as much as I like Robert Saleh and I like the Jets swagger, they're not there yet. They're missing a lot of pieces. I think Green Bay is going to win this game pretty handily, to be honest with you.
I'm completely on the same brave wave as you. I think that the Packers win this game going away. I think the Jets got lucky with playing a third-string quarterback at home. Zach Wilson looked good, but we also know who Zach Wilson can be. I think in Lambeau, in the noise, getting back home after a loss, I think the Packers throttle the Jets. I could see this game being like 28-3, where the Jets can't even put up a touchdown, and we once again and don't get me wrong, every like hometown sports broadcasters are all insane and have no like middle ground. It's either, burn the world or we're the kings of the world. So we'll swing back to kings of the world of Green Bay being, and this defense showing once again what it can do.
It's more so here though, because the Packers have been successful for like most of 30 years. There's been a few seasons here and there where they didn't make the playoffs, but like I think like 24 out of the last like 30 seasons, I believe they've been in the playoffs. So we as a fan base don't remember what it's like to be bad. Yeah, we don't remember what it's like to be bad. In my lifetime, the Packers were not a trash franchise. Like before in the 80s and the 70s, they were, but I was born in 88, so I was lucky enough to miss that. And my first memories of the Packers are the very early days of Brett Favre. So I'm very lucky to have experienced all this, and I know that it's about to collapse because it doesn't. Things like this do not last forever. There's a lot of franchises that will tell you that. They look at like Miami, for instance. I don't know. It just we're just not used to losing, and that's why people freak out. And it's just like you gotta take a step back and like be like, dude, it's not the end of the world. Like the NFC North is one of the weakest divisions. The Packers are gonna win this division. The Vikings are a fraud. 100% they're a fraud. We'll talk about them in 2 games because the next game is a battle of the AFC South. The 2-3 Jacksonville Jaguars at the 2-1 Indianapolis Colts. Colts are favored by 2.5, and I have no idea who's going to win this game.
Oh, I do. I got the Jags. I got the Jags all the way. They already beat them once this year. They shut them out. And it's crazy that they're playing the Colts both times this early in the season.
These 2 teams, neither of them could beat Houston.
Nope.
One of them actually lost to Houston.
Yep.
No one tied. But, like, that's nutty.
I'm telling everyone, that Houston defense is sneaky. They're not great, but they are a sneaky defense, and I dig Houston. I like the AFC South in the fact that I enjoy watching their games. I don't think any of them are even honestly worthy of the playoffs at this moment, but they're fun to watch.
I don't like this game at all. I'm not going to lie. I don't like this game at all because the Colts, they're not a good team. Matt Ryan was not the answer. Frank Reich's going to lose his job. Like, they're going to have, like, Jonathan Taylor will be there next year, but I think everything's going to look different.
I think Jimmy G is going to be a Colt next year. If I had to make a choice, I bet that Jimmy G will be a Colt. They're going to keep trading for quarterbacks until they get one.
That would be hilarious because they would go from Rivers to Wentz to Ryan to Jimmy G. Like, if that keeps on happening, like, eventually they're gonna land somebody.
They gotta hit one, right?
I mean, what's the point of like trying to draft a quarterback? Because the last time they drafted a quarterback, he quit halfway through his career.
Generational talent went, I don't want to play for you guys anymore. I'm out.
I mean, I get it. Like, it's his prerogative. Like, they're just sad because I was a big Andrew Luck fan.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, he's living healthy, and that's important. So I'm gonna go with Indianapolis just because, just split the difference. I don't know who's gonna win this game. Like I said, I don't like this game. The Colts couldn't score a touchdown last week against the Broncos. Jacksonville lost to Houston. Trevor Lawrence did not look good against Houston, and Matt Ryan hasn't looked good all season at all. I don't know if Jonathan Taylor is going to be available, but like, oh my God, this game is going to be a stink fest. This is probably the worst week so far of matchups wise.
Matchup wise, this is a crap week. And since you already made your Indy pick, I will remind you of my overtime rule. The Colts did just play an overtime game.
And I'm pretty sure I've picked every team the next week that would play in overtime to win. So we'll see if this rule holds up. Maybe I'll have to switch that up for Monday Night Football, who I'm going to pick. Let's get honest, I wasn't going to pick Denver anyways. Sunday at noon, we have the 4-1 Minnesota Vikings at the 3-2 Miami Dolphins. The Vikings could easily be 3-2 or even 2-3, but somehow they're 4-1 and they're number 2 in the NFC, and I just feel like enjoy it while it lasts because Tua's already ruled out for this week, which I expect. A lot of people were like saying, "Oh, he's gonna be back next week." It's like, no, they're gonna keep Tua out for a while because at least multiple weeks because like of what happened before. They were like, we gotta make sure this guy's good to go 100%. We can't put him back out there again because if something happens. So Bridgewater is still under concussion protocol as of this morning, I believe. So I'm going with the third string quarterback. This bodes well for Minnesota. I hate to say it, but the Miami defense looked like trash last week. Minnesota is going to be 5-1 after this week, and that's very, very sad for that fact. But they're going to get their comeuppance. It's going to happen. They have Kirk Cousins as their quarterback. So
I think that T Bridge is going to play from all the reports that I've read. And last week I talked about the Instagram guy I've been following, and he is on Instagram at SportMD Analysis, and his name is Deepak Chona. Is that the same guy you were talking about?
No, my guy's name was like McNamara or something like that.
Okay. Well, he's a great follow on the Instagram, like has great information. And he was saying for Tua that with a major concussion, it's usually at least 4 to 6 weeks that you will be okay. But with Bridgewater, he said while he hasn't cleared concussion protocol yet, it was mostly a like just what's the word I'm looking for? Like they were just being cautious with it, with everything that had happened.
Oh, yeah, especially with the Dolphins too.
Exactly. And then he'd also hurt his elbow, which is another reason that he stayed out of the game. But it was his non-throwing arm elbow. And you know what? This is a revenge game. This is T Bridge's revenge on the Vikings. The frickin' Dolphins are going to rally around him, and you don't have to cry next week because the Vikings are going to be 4-2. I'm taking the Dolphins to win here.
I mean, I'm rooting for the Dolphins. You know, I'm on the Dolphins bandwagon. I haven't fallen off yet. But, yeah, I would love that. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, the whole thing about Bridgewater's, like, concussion protocol thing. They said in the game that he didn't have concussion symptoms, but since like he stumbled and like it was a rule that was less than 24 hours old that they had to keep him out. And it's weird that he's still in it if like he didn't have a concussion. Like, so it makes me like, I know they're just trying to like dot their I's and cross their T's because of the Tua situation. Like they're under more scrutiny than any other team. But yeah, I would love to see Bridgewater play, and I would love to see him get his revenge on Minnesota. I feel like he has some resentment towards them and feels like they did him dirty, especially that one year when they sat him and played. No, they sat Christian Ponder and played what's his face, Joe Webb.
Yeah, good old Joe Webb.
The Packers in the playoffs. That was a great idea. Just let's start our starting quarterback and play our backup quarterback that's a receiver.
Hey man, the Vikings, they're real good at football. You know that.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on to the next game that's on Sunday at noon. It's the 2-3 Cincinnati Bengals at the 2-3 New Orleans Saints, and Taysom Hill. Like, oh man, like if he isn't playing more after last week, Dennis Allen is an idiot. Because obviously Jameis is affected by his broken back.
Yeah,
like
needs a bacchiotomy. I said that weeks ago.
And the red rifle is never really been very good.
No.
I don't know. It's so much more you can do with Taysom Hill because he can actually throw the ball. He can run the ball. Like you can run it. Like you can run a standard offense. You can run a wildcat with him. You can line him up at receiver. Like I don't know why he doesn't play more. I just like in the first few weeks, and he proved why he should play more last week by scoring 4 touchdowns. Yeah. I don't know. I already had him on one league, and I'm playing him this week because I'm expecting him to play more, and I picked him up in the other league. And I need him to do well in fantasy because I'm 1-4 in both leagues and I need to start winning now. But I don't know. This is an interesting game because the Bengals still haven't figured it out. The Saints aren't very good. They have good players, but like I don't know. Olave is getting better with each week, and he is still. They haven't said he's going to play yet, but he's expected to play. He had a concussion.
That touchdown he scored, that didn't look good when his head hit that ground.
And I agree with that was a catch by the rule too. Like I thought for sure that they were going to say it was incomplete. But the reason he let go of the ball wasn't because of the ground. He popped up and he was injured, and that's why I let go of the ball. I thought that was pretty obvious. I'm surprised that they thought the same thing. Knowing those refs like
that felt like a Kelvin Johnson situation where they were going to take it back off the board, even though everyone in the world saw it and goes, "That's a touchdown."
The Cincinnati's only favored by 1.5. That's how bad they've been this year. I still think Cincinnati's going to win this game because they have to win this game.
Yeah.
Like, they know that if they lose to the Saints and they go 2-4,
it's bad.
Baltimore, they're not going to be able to catch Baltimore. Like, they're lucky Baltimore has 2 losses. They are so lucky Baltimore has 2 losses. But yeah, they need to stay with Baltimore. I'm going to pick Cincinnati. They know they need to win this game.
Man, that Super Bowl hangover is just, it's one of the only constants, I guess, in the NFL, unless you're the Patriots. The only team who didn't, like, completely shit the bed the next season after losing the Super Bowl recently has been the Patriots.
I don't know.
Oh, Kansas
Chiefs
City.
made it all the way to the
Kansas
AFC Championship last year.
You know,
they almost won. They lost in overtime, so they didn't shit the bed. But, like, I don't know. Chiefs, I can't wait to talk about their game coming up. I don't know. Who do you got in this game?
I'm going to take... I'm sorry, Brett. I'm picking them one more week. If they lose again this week, I'll stop picking them. I'm picking the Bengals. I think that they've just got to figure this out, right? There's too many weapons on that team for this offense to be scoring, like, less than 20 points a game. Like, I just don't get it.
Yeah. Well, to quote Tom Grassi, kitty goes meow. And so far, there's been 2 Big Cat games, and you've picked both the Big Cats. So
I told you, I'm just going against what I said last on the first week we did this podcast, and what I said last year that I wasn't going to pick Big Cat teams anymore. I'm all about the Big Cats.
I would have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure we haven't had a Big Cat versus Big Cat yet this season. That's what happened in week 1.
Yeah, I don't know if we have. Yeah, I don't think we have. Can't wait.
Anyways, Sunday at noon, we have the 3-2 Baltimore Ravens at the 4-1 New York Giants. Baltimore is favored by 5. This is a real test for the Giants. If they win this game, I will be like, they are legit. I like Brian Gable. I didn't like that they beat the Packers, but I like the fact that they were able to pick up the pieces after being down 17 and come back and win that game. Especially with having like a depleted receiving core and their defense was banged up. And plus an injured, Daniel Jones. And the Packers did a good job of keeping Saquon Barkley at bay, and yet the Giants still won. So I don't know about the Giants. Like, I want to be like, they are good. But, like, at the same time, like, this is the same team that they put on the field last year, and they were hot garbage.
Yeah.
Like, there's a couple of different pieces, and, like, a different head coach, different general manager. But, like, I don't know. Like, this is, like, literally the same team. So, did they figure it out? Is Brian Gable, is he the answer? I mean, look what he did for the Bills, and look how good the Bills are. You know, like, I can't pick against Baltimore though, because Lamar Jackson is on fire this season. He's making all the haters like shut up. He's also gonna earn his contract next year with wherever he plays. I still don't feel like it's gonna be Baltimore. I feel like he's like kind of like Devontae Adams. He feels like they done him wrong and he's gonna go elsewhere. I don't know where it's gonna be. Stay out of. I really hope he doesn't go to the Bears. I really hope he doesn't go to the Bears. He's probably gonna go to the Bears. I just put it out there, didn't I? God damn it.
I'll be 100% honest. You know where I think Lamar's going to play next year?
Where's that?
Carolina, baby. If they love a running quarterback anywhere in the NFL, it's Carolina, and Tepper, I guarantee, will empty the vaults to get Lamar.
I mean, yeah, he paid Matt Rule 7 years, $62 million, and he was an unproven head coach. So, yeah, he probably would empty the vaults. I don't know. I think Carolina depends on the head coach. But, yeah, I mean, and that's a lie because it's Lamar Jackson. So I think Lamar Jackson could bring a head coach rather than a head coach bring Lamar Jackson. So I take that back. Yeah,
I also am taking Baltimore.
I can't pick against Baltimore. The only reason they would lose this game would be because John Harbaugh gets in the way again.
I will say, if the Packers would have a rougher game this week and weren't at home, I probably would have picked against the Packers this week as well, because coming back from London ain't easy. And going to Baltimore, that's a tough sled. You get Green Bay followed by Baltimore.
Well, they're at home. They
are. Well, it's fine. Whatever.
But I mean, it's not a far travel. Maryland to New York or New Jersey. That's not very far. No. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, John Harbaugh almost cost him the game again, but this time I think he made the right decision. And he was still being criticized for it, but that's what happens when you make a bunch of dumb decisions. It costs your team games. But yeah, the only way I see Baltimore losing this game is a dumb decision by John Harbaugh.
Yeah, or Saquon Barkley going off for 300 yards.
Yeah. Moving on. Sunday, another noon game, last noon game of the week. We have the 3-2 Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the 1-4 Pittsburgh Steelers. Tampa Bay is favored by 7.5. I don't even think we really need to talk much about this game. I think that Tampa Bay is going to win this game. Pittsburgh is bad. Mike Tomlin's going to have his first under 500 season this year.
Yup.
I mean, it shows Ben Roethlisberger was actually a really good quarterback. He held this team together for years.
Yeah.
I do have faith in Kenny Pickett, though, but he's a rookie playing on a team without an offensive line, and really don't have receivers either. But I don't know. I have faith in Mike Tomlin. I think he's a really good coach, and they will pick it up. It's just this year, they're going to get a good draft pick, and that's probably going to help them a lot.
Yeah, I was going to say, they haven't picked near the top of the draft, probably in the Mike Tomlin era, basically. And I think picking up near the top can really help the Steelers, because I do think they're just a few pieces away, especially when Joey Bosa's out there. That's
TJ Watt.
TJ Watt, sorry.
You got the Watts mixed up with the Bosas.
I know, it's those damn
Both
brothers.
Big Ten families.
Yeah,
Both
I know.
Big Ten families.
But yeah, Tampa Bay, as I talked about earlier about people owning things, Tom Brady owns the Pittsburgh Steelers. If there was a quarterback who could have stake in another team for just owning them, Aaron Rodgers owns the Bears, Tom Brady owns the Steelers. Tom Brady's going to rip this game up. Tomlin has never been able to really handle Tom Brady, and even a 45-year-old Tom Brady, they got it going a little bit last week, and then they got it going a little bit more, or a little bit 2 weeks ago, a little bit more this last week. Tampa Bay's ramping up, and they're going to win this game handily.
I mean, Tom Brady owns a lot of franchises.
He does.
Not just Pittsburgh. He owns Atlanta. I think they said he's was 11-0 against Atlanta in his career or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember things. I know he's undefeated against Atlanta in his career. That's a crazy stat. And one of those was a Super Bowl where they were down 28-3.
28-3!
Okay, moving on to the first 3:00 game. We have the 1-4 Carolina Panthers with interim head coach. I forget his name. It doesn't matter. They're playing the 2-3 Los Angeles Rams, which they could still win this game. Rams are favored by 10.5, which, I mean, I get the thought process behind that, but the Rams have not played good at all this year.
10.5
with
points?
them being at home, and you do have the cross-country thing that comes into play too.
East Coast, West Coast.
I mean, yeah, it is West Coast. It's a little different. I'm going to go with the Rams. I don't think 10.5. I don't think they're going by 10.5, but I don't know. Carolina, they're probably playing for that first pick. I won't blame them. Get a new head coach at the first pick, bring in Lamar Jackson with that first pick, and Carolina could be something special. Who knows?
I'm going to pick the Rams to win this game, but once again, this is my silver lock of the week where I'm not picking winners. I'm just picking against the spread. It always goes one of two ways when you fire a coach. The next game, either you completely shit the bed, or the team really gets up to play for that coach. But I just remembered...
Bisaccia?
Yeah, there we go. But I just remembered
And
something else about this game.
you know what happened to him? He took him to the playoffs last year. Now he's the Packers special team coach, and he's actually doing a fairly good job. He just needs to cut Amari Rodgers because that guy can't hold on to a football.
We're done talking about the Packers, Diesel. We talked about them already. Okay.
Sorry.
Save it for next week.
Hey, you gave me a natural transition into Rich Bisaccia.
I did. I just remembered something else, though, that I did see. I'm pretty sure Baker's not playing this week, which means P.J. Walker is going to be the starting quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. And while I loved the XFL, P.J. Walker's not very good. And no, I'm taking the Rams, and I'm not putting a lock on it. I might take the 10.5 points. Because besides Christian McCaffrey, I don't think they have an offense.
P.J. Walker sounds like a fictional video game football character.
Oh yeah.
Like in like Blitz the League or something like that. He sounds like he'd be the quarterback in that game.
He's a creative player.
Yeah, exactly. All right, moving on. There's a bunch of games like I don't know what's gonna happen. And this game is at 3:00 on Sunday. It is the 2-3 Arizona Cardinals taking on their division rival, the 2-3 Seattle Seahawks. Cardinals are favored by 2.5. I don't know. I don't like the Cardinals, you know that, but they do turn it on late, and if like you let them stay in a game, that's when they strike. They should be like their other like sports counterparts. They should be called the Diamondbacks because like they strike like when the time is opportune. That's how they got both of their wins. It's I don't know, but Geno Smith, like
lighten it up
through 5 weeks, has looked really, really good. He's looked good enough that I picked him up in fantasy this week because Tua is out.
I'm picking it. I don't even need to hear anything else. Diesel's curse is a real thing. I'm picking Arizona to win this game. I don't need to hear anything else.
There's a reason why I haven't picked up Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers because I couldn't live with myself if like either of them got injured because of my curse. But like I had to pick up somebody because Tua's out. Goff is on bye. That's who I played last week, and plus he stunk it up. So like the best option out there was Geno Smith, so I went with it. I pulled the trigger on Geno Smith, and I think that the curse is going to be broken this week because I think Geno Smith's going to ball out because Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, this just in, they're both really good.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks that Rashad Penny is out for the season because he was having a good start to the season. But like, I don't know. Geno Smith is looking so much better than Russell Wilson, and it's making me laugh so hard that like Seattle made out in that trade. Like they made out in that trade before the season started, but now it's just like, yeah, it's like they knew that Russell Wilson was done. Like
they
he was
had
cooked.
to have known, right?
He's not cooking, he's cooked. And
he's no longer a Seattle Seahawk. He's a Denver Bronco chicken.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Seahawks in this game. I think they're gonna win by 6 because I do think that it's going to be one of those situations where Cardinals are going to try to make a comeback at the end of the game and there's going to be like a turnover or something like that. And yeah, I'm going to go with Seattle in this game.
I'm going to just ride the Diesel curse and go against whatever fantasy quarterback you're starting. So I'm going to take Arizona.
I mean, this is another one of those that are coin flips. Division's so bad.
Yeah.
It looked like it was going to be good on paper before the season, but no.
Yeah.
But this one, so this is definitely the game of the week. And Sunday Night Football is really close to being the game of the week, but it's not as big as this one because we got one of the best rivalries in the last like half decade, I would say. We have the 4-1 Buffalo Bills at the 4-1 Kansas City Chiefs. Buffalo going into Arrowhead is favored by 2.5, which is nuts to think about because it's not like the Chiefs are bad. Like both of them are flawed and they've been exposed. So like their weaknesses are out there. It sucks for Buffalo about their defense. Losing Micah Hyde a couple weeks ago, I think was huge. They're still holding it together. They still got their defense is still really good. and Gabe Davis, finally they're throwing him the ball. And I know you're upset about that, but I mean, play him this week because
I'm
they're
going
finally
to.
finding him. Yeah, this game is another one that's hard to pick because both teams are so good, and I feel like it's going to be a shootout. Like it has to be a shootout, right?
Has to
Like,
be.
and this is going to be the AFC Championship game. This like I know there's a lot of good teams in the AFC, but like I don't know if like things keep going the way it goes, and I know it's still early. It's only week 6, but like these two teams are the cream of the crop of the AFC.
I
I'm so
completely
excited
agree.
for this game. It, like I feel if I pick the Bills, I feel bad because like I don't know. I feel bad picking either one of these teams because I don't know who's gonna win. I feel like whatever team I go with, the other team's gonna win. So I'm just gonna go with my gut, and I'm gonna go with Kansas City. They're at home. The like Arrowhead, like when it's rocking, it's rocking. And Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen have both looked really good this year, but I think they're even. Like I can't even say one of them's been better than the other because both of them have made their like little stupid mistakes, but they've been like just short of perfect, both of them. I don't know. I'm going Chiefs.
Yeah, I think I saw a stat, and
I
I
know what you're
think
doing.
this is the 41st, 42nd home game for Patrick Mahomes in his career, and it's the first time he's ever been a home dog, which is an absolute wild thing. I'm going to tell you right now, Diesel, I was going to pick opposite of whatever you did, no matter what, because I do think this game is a coin flip. And so just to be able to have something to root for the other way, I was going to make you pick first because I was taking the opposite. I don't love picking the Bills here because the Chiefs are just obnoxious and annoying the hell out of me this year. And even when they're down, they just. How do you not cover Travis Kelce when you're within the 5 yard line? How does that
4
man score
touchdowns.
4 touchdowns? How? How? You're a division opponent. You know they throw the ball to him every time. Like, what are you doing? 2 of those, he was wide open. He didn't have even a freaking Raider within like 5 yards of him. He was walking butt naked in the end zone.
Well, I knew that you were gonna go opposite of me this game either way. That's why I picked the Chiefs because I like the Chiefs, and I like the Bills too. But like I don't know, like when it's a toss up like that and it's that close, I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. But that Monday night game, that was a crazy game. Why did Las Vegas go for 2? If they would have got it, they would have the lead. But like, no, go for overtime.
Yeah.
Like I understand you're in Arrowhead. I get the thought process behind all of it, but no, don't do that. And then that last play when Renfro and Adams like ran into each other, like that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
That sums up the Raiders season right there. Josh McDaniels is only going to be there for 1 year. Like,
Dude, Renfro has just been hurt all year, and he just
he's
seems
been
to.
bad too.
Yeah.
He hasn't been as good as he was last year.
Not at all. He
Waller got
fell
hurt at
off
the
a
beginning of that
cliff.
game. Like Waller got hurt at the beginning of the game. They're lucky they're on a bye this week because they do need to heal. But they're 1-4 when like there's a lot of people that actually had them winning that division, and it's like the Chiefs have pretty much already won that division.
Oh yeah,
which is crazy. Like coming into the season, that was like the most hyped division. Everyone said that was going to be the best division. No, that's the NFC East.
yeah,
Or
100%.
at least to start out the season. And like so far, we're getting that dogfight like I wanted. If Washington could just like win some games, like
hey, they're trying.
Yeah. So yeah. Well, speaking of the NFC East,
Oh, hold on.
that's
My silver lock of the week. I don't even care what the over/under is. Take the over. I'm sure it's going to be almost. It might be 60. Honest to God,
So are you moving your Rams pick to the bronze lock of the week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, moving
you
that.
did silver, but I understand.
No, but I didn't make that pick because I was going to say the Carolina was my
okay.
silver lock of the week. But then I remember PJ Walker starting, and I was like, nah, I'm not getting involved in that hot mess of a thing. So this is my silver lock of the week.
Okay, gotcha. Anyways, the next matchup is the Battle of the NFC East on Sunday Night Football. You have the 4-1 Dallas Cowboys at the 5-0 Philadelphia Eagles, the last undefeated team in the league. The Eagles are favored by 5.5, and I already know who I'm going with. Like, I put a lot of thought into this game already, and I'm going with the Cowboys. I feel like the Eagles have been lucky in their last couple games that they like came out of it with a win. They haven't looked as good as they looked in the first like 3 weeks, but at the same time they are really good. But I just think that Micah Parsons is going to give Jalen Hurts so many problems, and I just feel like the Eagles are still a really good team. If I did a power rankings, they obviously would be number one in my power rankings. But I feel like they, just like Packers lost to the Giants, they kind of need this loss, and it's going to make them stronger, especially a division opponent. I think when all is said and done on Sunday, Dallas is going to be leading the NFC East. So, and I'm all in for this dogfight. Like, this has been the most entertaining division so far this year, and I hope like it's three-way all the way to the end, and maybe all like three of the NFC East teams between Dallas, Philadelphia, and not Washington. Who's the other one?
The Giants.
Giants. Yeah. Duh. Sorry. My brain is just overloaded with information right now. Yeah, I hope that like if they all made the playoffs, I think that'd be pretty fun. That means we're in store for a fun ride this season. But I'm going with Dallas. Who do you got?
Oh man, I've also thought about this game a whole ton. And these games are always very close games. So before I even pick my winner, I'm going to say my bronze lock of the week is if you can get Dallas +4 or more anywhere, hammer that. This is going to be a field goal game. Neither of these teams are going to be able to run away with it. This is a division game. I do think that in the end, the Eagles will win. And this will be the game that Cooper Rush won't lose them the game, but I don't think he's going to be able to win the game for them, where I think this game comes down to a final drive. And I think this is the game where Cooper Rush is, you know, he's solid, but he's not a great NFL quarterback. And this Eagles defense is kind of scary. Like, they got some boys out there who can hunt, and those cornerbacks in that backfield is no joke. So I see this game coming down to the final drive, probably with Dallas with the ball in their hand, but with Cooper Rush being back there, I just don't see him being able to get the job done. So I'm going to take Philly by maybe like 2. Like, I could see this game being like a 28-26, like a weird score, and then Dallas having a chance to win it and just not being able to do it.
Home miss extra points by Dallas.
Yeah.
Philly comes back to get it to 28-26 with like a minute remaining. That would be fun. If that's the way it went down, I'm not gonna lie. That'd be interesting. Because you know what's gonna happen. Dallas isn't gonna have any timeouts. And they're gonna like throw the ball down the middle of the field and try to get a snap off, and
yeah.
You know,
and then they're going to have Cooper Rush up the middle when there's only 14 seconds left with no timeouts. And then the clock's going to expire, and then everyone's going to freak out.
Yeah, that'd be awesome if that happened. That's going to be a good game. At least the like end of the week is kind of good, except for then we got Monday Night Football, which
stinker.
Yeah, not as bad as the start to the week, though. This game should be better than Washington and Chicago, because this one is an AFC West division matchup between the 2-3 Denver Broncos at the 3-2 LA Chargers. Can't remember names again.
Herbert, Wilson.
No.
Eckler.
Like Eckler, thank you. Eckler looked really good last week. He looked really good in week 4. He's finally back. If they could get Keenan Allen back, they'd be doing a lot better. I mean, it doesn't really look like Herbert's too affected by this rib injury, and I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't imagine it's all healed up, but I mean, he's still playing decent. I mean, he's having a down year for Herbert, but at the same time, it's still early. I feel like he's going to pick it up. Denver is not good. They cannot score in the red zone. Nathaniel Hackett is, from recent memory, one of the worst rookie head coaches to start. Even though they have 2 wins, he has no confidence in anybody in his team.
You would really say that he just can't hack it, huh?
What's that? Yeah, there you go. That's a good one. I like it. Yeah, I don't know. Denver is just a mess. I can't see them winning this game. They couldn't even get a touchdown against Indianapolis. So I definitely got Los Angeles winning. They're 4.5-point favorites, and I think they'll probably win by more than that. I'd say Los Angeles is gonna win by 10.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna say this right now here on the podcast. I think I'm gonna make a rule for the rest of the year that unless something majorly changes, I'm not watching any more Denver Broncos games. Every Denver Bronco game I've watched so far this season has been a waste of 3.5 hours of my life. They are atrocious. They are poor to watch. It's not even fun football. They're sloppy. I got the LA Chargers dog walking these guys. I think the Chargers, this could be another Bills-Steelers game where it's just the game's over by the end of the second quarter. And then we're just trying to see backups play. Because 12 red zone trips in that Indy game, 0 touchdowns. But that is high school football shit. I'm not watching any more Denver Broncos games. Give me the Chargers, and I don't know if I have any locks yet or left, but if I do or if I don't, I don't care. I'm bet the house on the Chargers. Like this, if honestly the Denver Broncos win this game, this would be the biggest shock of the year to me. Like in the first 6 weeks, I would absolutely be mind blown.
Yeah, I mean, Denver should have won that game in overtime for sure. They were inside the 10. They had 1 yard to go on 4th down. Russell Wilson just stood in the pocket and then threw it to a covered receiver. It's like he could have easily stepped up and got 1 yard. Or he could have maybe even got the touchdown. But no, he stood there and threw the ball, and it's like they're not paying you $250 million to lose games in that situation. You got to be smarter than that. You need 1 yard. You don't need the touchdown. There's still 2 minutes left on the clock. You need that first down. It gives you 4 more opportunities. That was really, I don't know. There's been so many dumb decisions by quarterbacks this year. It's just like, we need, like, I mean, I know John Gruden is like not very popular person anymore, but like we need the Gruden like quarterback camp back because he needs to smarten these guys up. Like maybe like he should do it PC wise, but like I mean like he's a quarterback guru. Like you need to like get these guys making good decisions again because like even like the best like Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers are doing dumb things. It just it's a weird year. But then you have Daniel Jones last week who didn't make one mistake. It's like, who is this Daniel Jones guy?
And was running around on a high ankle sprain looking like Lamar Jackson.
It's like, he's looking like he's a top first round draft pick, right?
Yeah. It's almost like he's living up to his potential.
All right. Well.
One last thing.
Yeah.
I did see someone, and I don't remember if it was on ESPN or NFL or if I was listening to some sports talk radio, but they were talking with that 4th and 1 being how bad it was, like watching Russell Wilson like just to bed right there. They brought it all the way back to the Super Bowl game against the Patriots, and we all harped on Pete Carroll. Even as a Patriots fan, I knew that game was over. Like I was like 1 yard to go. Marshawn Lynch, I was defeated. I was my head on the bar. I was like, this game is over. We got over by that Javon Curse acrobat circus catch that shouldn't have happened, which happens in every Patriots Super Bowl game just to spite us. So I was done. I knew the game was over. And then Russell Wilson throws an interception and I lose my mind. But we all harped on Pete Carroll so very much for that call. But what if it wasn't Pete Carroll at all? What if it was just fucking dumbass Russell Wilson doing it again? Because that's what that looked like right there on 4th and 1 in overtime. You could easily win the game right there yourself. Just take the ball 1 yard. You probably could have scored the touchdown. And he doesn't.
Before we wrap this up, I like the YouTube channel That's Good Sports with Brandon Perna. He's a Broncos fan, and he was theorizing how the end of Russell Wilson like tenure, by the end of Russell Wilson's tenure as a Bronco, he could be the biggest Broncos villain of all time. He beat the Broncos in the Super Bowl. Then they signed him to a $250 million deal. And if like he doesn't like start playing well at all, like uh I didn't look up their contract like status and everything like that, but I've heard like other people on podcasts that have, and they say that like they can't buy out until after the 2025 season. So like he has guaranteed money up until then, and then even then there's like still 39 million in dead cap if they buy his contract out after that. So he's locked in for a while. So Broncos country, let's ride. Like, and that was the saddest Les ride after the game too. He's walking around, he's walking away. Let's ride.
That's right.
Man. Russell Wilson is a weird dude. And then, like, I just so happened to leave the game on after it was over and the post game was on. And just to hear Richard Sherman ragging on his former teammate, the guy that he won a Super Bowl with, like he's hated him for a long time.
I was about to say, Sherman despises Wilson, yeah. And now he can finally let it all go.
I like that he's on TV. I like Richard Sherman.
Richard Sherman got a bad rap in the NFL. Guy's always been like good talker. Like he was always great in interviews, and yeah, he was kind of a cocky dickhead on the field, but he's a cornerback. That's what he's paid to do.
I loved when he went up to Aaron Andrews after beating the 49ers in the NFC Championship, and what he said about that. Sorry, Michael Crabtree.
Yeah.
I love that. That is up there with best like post game interviews with like Kevin Garnett, like anything possible, like
the one I always look at, and even though it was against
Pittsburgh,
yeah, can't wait. Bart Scott,
that's
man,
also a good one. Yeah.
Such a good one, like that. That right there, can't wait.
A couple years where the Jets were just like unstoppable under Rex Ryan, with Mark Sanchez as their quarterback, and then the butt fumble happened,
and then the butt fumble.
Well, anyways, I think that's a good spot to like end this thing.
The butt fumble is always a great spot to end anything.
Don't have anything like planned to end this, so just follow me on Twitter at diesel_VFTR. You can follow Chad on Twitter at Chads_mind. You can follow our other podcast at VFTR 2PO. You can follow Visionaries Global Media on Twitter at Viz Global Media. Be sure to follow us on YouTube at View from the Top Rope. You also can be added to the network by sending your podcasts into visionariesglobalmedia@gmail.com. They'll be listened to and they'll be added to the network and uploaded to various podcasting platforms such as Stitcher, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podknife, and Podable. And yeah, that's really all there is to it. So do you have anything you'd like to say before we say goodbye to the fine folks that listen to this show?
Once again, Mr. Wentz, I call you Mr. Wentz, just throw the mother effing ball to Scary Terry. You'll be a much better quarterback.
I would like to expound on that, but we don't have time. We got to go. We're against the clock.
We, unlike Mike McCarthy, understand clock management.
That's right. That's definitely not true at all. But anyways, for my good friend and podcasting partner, the Dadillac Chad, I am Diesel, and let's watch some football.
Bye. This has been a Visionaries Global Media production. Visionaries Global Media. Envisioning excellence on a global scale.